Hello guys. So today, I've got a funny little analysis video for you. We're gonna be taking a look at the DK tank on Twins hard mode. So this is my recording from a current swashbuckler prog that I'm in with Sarah.
Slaughter them.
I'm the DKMT.
Their screams will have to
Let's go ahead and turn this down.
Let's do this.
So in this group, we're hard pulling to save time, right? Most groups, unless you're doing the trifecta, most groups aren't gonna do this, but it's up to the raid lead. But so in our group, main tank grabs both domes off the bat and chains in dogs and stuff, as well as the OT. So you're gonna see me pick up this piercing hailstone. That's the first thing I do as we hard pull.
With high bit.
And I turn around, I grab this dog, because he's the only flame dog that's like out of the way. And I drop that dome and pick up a new dome, kill the rest of the dogs. It's as easy as that. The quicker you do that, the, you save a couple seconds, but honestly, it doesn't really matter. Some groups might not even have the tank do it, but I do it. I like doing it. I like doing a lot of things. So it doesn't really matter either way who does it, so why not? And then next, you'll see that I'm not taunting here. I'm just minding my business. That's because the way we're doing this is the OT, the Necro OT, or whatever, off tank is gonna grab the boss that comes down first, and the DKMT, or I guess it doesn't have to be a DK, but the main tank is just gonna chill and debuff, buff, do whatever they're doing, but they're not taunting first. You're just sitting here waiting patiently. In this group, I'm in Crypt Cannon. It's kind of hard for you to see that, but this little thing right here under the little play button, that is Crypt Cannon. Yeah, so I'm already at 500 LT. There's no point in me XC draining, but I'm doing it anyway. Pretty much, you're kind of just chilling out for this opening bit. Crypt in 3, 2, 1. There's me calling my Crypt Cannon. Alright, this is what we're waiting for. So summon Frost Atro. You see him pointing to where it's at. That's ours. So the way you can tell is if so my OT is Kuja Knight. He is taking Turlassil. Turlassil is blue. He's the ice guy. There is a fire dome up. So if ice guy spawns ice Atros, you are going to be taking the ice Atros. Take the same color ads as the boss that's in the dome.
Can you conquer this mountain of ice?
That's my ice. And then Imminent Chill, the swap mechanic, me and Kuja are now going to swap. And you see I took the ice Atro because I'm ending up with the boss anyway, and we're going to stack these. Kuja is taking the other extra Atros that spawn. He's getting the flame ones because they don't match the boss color. We kill those later when the other boss comes down.
Really?
Okay, so I've got both of my Atros. I'm bringing them in towards the boss. Dome is about to come up so we can kill all of the Atros and get moving in the fight. I'm chilling. I'm trying to XC drain as much as possible because I really don't have much to do. I guess if you wanted to stagger, you could stagger here like very easily. It's not that bad. If you're usually guarded in swash groups or just hard mode, you're usually guarded, so you don't really take a lot of damage here in the middle. As long as you're blocking, like, you're good to go. And then another thing, in regular vet, maybe depending on the group, probably not, but just, in case, you should never see the stacking circle mechanics in the center here. Like, there's 5 circles that spawn. You shouldn't ever see that in the center if your group is pushing fast enough. So yeah, we're kind of just chilling. We're just waiting for our Atros to die. They already died, and now here's teleport. For me, I'm in Crypt Cannon, so I want to build as much ult as possible. So I'm gonna spend this phase XC draining. It's just a bunch to get as much ultimate as possible. You don't have to do that if you're not in Crypt Cannon. It completely depends on what your group wants you to do. But that's what I'm doing. I'm just XC draining. What I was doing at the beginning of the prog was during teleport phase, since there's nothing for me to do right now except for, I guess I do get circles, but that's because the push is really slow. My bad, I lied. You should never see those. But yeah, no. What you could do is crushing shock to help teleport. Like right here, I have crushing shock on my back where I could have helped interrupt, but my group is good enough to where they don't need that help. So I'm just gonna keep XC draining and building LT.
Help with interrupt temp.
Go. I don't know if you guys heard that, but Sarah missed her interrupt. She was like, "Help with interrupt temp," and I turn around. I'm like, "Huh? What?" I was too busy XC draining. So there's one mistake on my part, but
Interrupt temp.
it's cool. Yeah. Okay, so now that first phase is done with that first boss. So now what we're looking at is the next boss is going to come down. We just dealt with the ice boss. So now the fire boss is going to come down. We're going to stack the 2 iron atros on top of the fire boss. And we're going to get ice dome, opposite dome color.
I didn't see where it went. I gotta turn around.
Usually I taunt these
Bullets here.
just so the OT doesn't have to take a bunch of damage in the opening. We can split the load
3,
almost.
2.
And look, they melt really fast. They die quick. And then now, like, Kuja, my OT, has the boss, so now I'm just sitting here XC draining, trying to get as much ultimate as possible. You could stagger here if you wanted to, you could do whatever you want, but you're RPing for a little bit, basically. Not much to do. Okay, so Atros are spawning. So, like we talked about before, the boss that's in the dome is the fire boss, Lylanar, and the dome color is ice, so we want to take the same colored ads as the boss. The boss is fire, so we're taking iron atros. That is ours. Get ready for swap. Swap now. We're just gonna chill with the boss. New atro spawning. Let's you see how the boss like looked at where he's spawning atros? That's a good thing. If you wanna like make sure you pay attention to that. He's pointing to that back corner behind us. So then I know where he's at. Things to look out for. Add that to the list. Okay, so now dome's up, and both of our atros are gonna get melted. They die really fast, and you can see Kuja, the OT, is holding the 2 frost atros just in the back. As we get ready for split, he's gonna have to move to a side, but not yet. He's just sitting in the middle for a while. Okay, so this boss, or at least the way that I do it, this boss is going to be mine, right? If Kuja is holding the frost atros, then he is going to want the frost boss. The frost boss isn't down yet, so this is going to be my boss because it's the fire boss. I'm going to take the opposite of his atros. So second boss that comes down during the fight, that's yours. You keep that. Make sure you keep taunt of this guy as he's doing teleport, because as soon as he's done with teleport, he doesn't fly back up to his chair. He stays down in the arena, and if he's untaunted, he's actually gonna light attack somebody and possibly kill them, throwing your trifecta. So there's me helping with crushing shock, at least trying to. And now I need to make sure that I have him taunted. I currently don't, so this is a mistake on my part. I need to have him taunted, because in this like split second where he's done with teleport, he could just light attack a DD and the run would be over. We'd have to reset. So definitely make sure that you have him taunted quicker than what I had. And then so he's fire boss, so we're gonna bring him over to the side that has the ice dome. And then Kuja, his boss is gonna come down in the center. He is over on the side with the atros. And then there are a billion ways to do it, but how I like to tank twins during split is I like to start you're kind of wanting to form like a half circle with your circles. I'll explain that in a second. Pretty much just RPing. So here's our first circle. Okay, I like to start it here where I'm at. Could be either side, doesn't matter, but you're gonna make a semicircle like around the outside, the outer edge, right? So I'm gonna move right. Trying to move the boss as little as possible so that damage doesn't fall off. Okay, so I've done my circles. This way, instead of kiting them like in between the two domes, I'm kiting them on the outer edges. That way, there's plenty of room for both DDs and healers and tanks to transition in between. You create a lot of problems if you have circles that litter the center of the arena, because then DDs can't stand in proper places for what is it, brands. They can't stand in proper places for brands. They can't transition whenever they need to. Yeah, so definitely kite your circles like on the outside and always be prepared for them, right? Don't be in the middle of nowhere. Always be like tanking the boss on the outer edges. So now my add-on is telling me that Kuja is getting the debuff. So that means we have to swap. So how do you swap, right? So this is something that I'm still a little shaky on. But if you're the DK, you don't have the debuff. It's usually going to be your off tank. With the one that had the atros during like when their boss came down, whoever has those atros is going to be the one that's going to get the debuff every time. So basically, you're waiting on them to tell you when they're ready to swap. A couple things you have to watch out for is like if you try to transition after taking a heavy, you're gonna have like your damage taken increase. Like right now, I just took a heavy, so if you look at my health bar, I have a heal absorption on me. This right here, broiling hue. When he hits that heavy on you, you have a heal absorption. So it's very important that you get healed out of that and then swap, right? Don't try to swap like right after you take that, because it's going to be very, very hard to heal yourself out. It's going to be very hard for your healers to try to catch you in transition and try to heal you out of it too. So only swap after you're good to go. You're ready.
I'm swapping 3, 2, 1. Now.
There was Kuja. I don't know if you heard it very well, but Kuja was calling temp swap in 3, 2, 1, and then I'm ready to go. Like if you saw my positioning, let's scroll back here. Yes, okay. So you see how I'm on the outer edge right now? Like I'm ready to go because I know that I have to swap soon. Don't be in a back corner when you're trying to swap, because then you have to go a farther distance. Just be ready to go, right? So as soon as he calls swap, I'm just gonna turn around and get over there.
2, 1. Now.
Okay, swapping. And then I'm gonna tank on the outer edges, right? So I'm doing the same thing that I was before, but I'm just mirroring it over on this other side. I'm gonna get ready for my circles. No. And I'm gonna kite them in a semicircle. You're pretty much just RPing until your circles come out. That was bad. You see, I rolled a heavy. Never roll the heavies from the bosses, or the atros as well. The atro heavies and the boss heavies, never ever roll them. And the reason why is because when you roll the heavies, or if you outrange the heavies, the boss and the atros will actually enrage, and they'll do a hell of a lot more damage to you and your teammates. You don't want that. Enraged enemies means more chances for people to die. You don't want that. It's very, very bad. Causes resets. So yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I rolled out here. That was a very terrible thing to do. Don't do that. Okay, so here's the situation. The boss jumped, and I lost taunt on it. So if I lost taunt on that boss, he's probably gonna start light attacking people. Definitely keep taunt on your boss until you're ready to swap with your co-tank. Like this was a mistake. You see my boss over there, the blue guy? He's just standing over there ready to light attack someone. So I need to 100% there, right there. Did you see that? You guys saw? He light attacked the Raged Avenger, fucking died all because of me, because I let him light attack somebody. That definitely, just try to prevent that. One death. That would have been a swash reset right there, all because of me, because I didn't keep taunt.
1. Now.
2, 1. Now swapping.
See when you can. Weapon. You don't have to destroy every weapon. You can just do it when there's 3. That's kind of
Okay, another thing to talk about. One of the big important things about both tank roles actually is dog management. The frost hounds and flame hounds, whatever they are, I don't know what they're called. The dogs are very, very important to keep under control. Make sure that they go to the right sides to die. So like a frost hound needs to go to the fire dome, and a flame hound needs to go to the ice dome. They die in the opposite color dome. If you don't manage these dogs, what'll happen is they put out AoEs called Raw Chunder and shit like that. They got really funky names, but these little tiny AoEs are going to one-shot your teammates after a while. More AoEs on the ground is never a good thing. If you can try to limit the amount of things that your team can die to, that's always going to be like the best way to go, right?
when there's
So good ways to watch out for that is the dogs will spawn on the opposite side of the arena as where you're at. So if we're holding domes at entrance, right, on left and right side of entrance, the dogs are going to spawn in these top right corners, like by challenge banner, and the other side, opposite challenge banner. That's where the dogs are going to come in from, right? So both me and Kuja need to do a very good job of chaining in the dogs, keeping them taunted so that they'll follow us to the other dome when we swap. Like, let's imagine right now, there is a frost hound on this side, right? It needs to be over at Fire Dome, but Kuja is busy, dealing with his stuff over there. He cannot chain this frost hound. It's too far away. So how do you deal with that? If the tank can't, do anything about it, how do you deal with it? How do you manage the dog? Well, I'm gonna taunt it. I'm gonna taunt that frost hound, and then when I make my next swap, that frost hound is then going to follow me over. It's just gonna walk with me, and it'll get managed. So definitely a huge thing. Make sure you at least taunt your dogs. That way they follow you over, and chain them if they're close enough. Just 100%. Dog management will make your clears on twins very, very easy.
that's kind of what we usually do. What do you take? Fire dome?
Yep. So right there, I chained it in, which chains also taunts as well. As long as the thing that you're chaining is untaunted, it will taunt. Here's the semicircle we already talked about earlier. I'm just gonna kite these circles in a semicircle on the outside edges of the arena. Getting ready to swap, so I'm gonna move to the outer edge.
We'll swap right now.
Swap
Ted.
now? Okay. Kuja needs to take that boss away. Huge. Did you already call the team swaps? See that frost hound that we chained in earlier? Look at him. Look at him right there. Look, we oh, that's crazy. He's just gonna follow us in.
Yeah.
And he's just gonna get melted. There you go. It's as easy as that, guys. I promise. Easy as that. Yeah, I wasn't listening. You see, Kuja did not taunt his flame hounds, so they are now sitting here with me. But the frost one, you just saw. Like I chained it, which taunted it, and then it followed me across when I swapped. So do that. Makes things so much easier.
Kuja, big side when you have it.
Just waiting to swap. New dogs. I'm gonna chain it, which taunts it.
Let's team up a while.
Circles on the outer edge. We already talked about that.
See?
My boss is about to die. Probably gonna have to do another swap soon.
Just rolled off.
Yep. Kuja, called out.
We can swap now, Ted.
Yep. Look at that. Flamehound that I taunted earlier followed me over. And he's dead. Easy as that.
Did he take
Here's
that
another one.
surface?
Both my dogs, they're managed because I taunted them.
Okay. Kuja,
Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. Like clicked on a weird spot.
okay.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. It's really not that hard on the tanks. You're kind of just the biggest problem is getting confused on like which atros you're taking. There's a lot of like, You're grabbing the flame atros, you're grabbing the ice atros, this dome, that dome, this boss, you know, which side to be on. It can get really overwhelming and really confusing, but once you've got it down, once you've done it enough and practiced it, you get used to it. It's the same thing every time. With only a couple elements of RNG in there, but that's about it. Just the swap thing. If we should probably talk about that a little bit more, just because I know that we definitely didn't spend too much time on it. So we'll talk about it right here. Kuja is going to get imminent chill. My OT is going to get imminent chill. Okay, so what do you need to do? What preparations do you make for swapping? Okay, so Kuja's the one with the debuff, so he needs to tell me when he needs to swap, when he's comfortable for it. You don't really have to worry about it as the main tank because you don't get the debuff. You're not gonna die to anything. You're just waiting on that other tank to swap. So what are they waiting on? I guess is a better way to phrase this. So they need to, like we talked about before, they need to wait until after a heavy or before a heavy. Just make sure that you're not affected by that heavy debuff because it would be a real shame to walk across the arena and you're like debuffed to hell because you ate a heavy right before swap. That's bad. So wait until after you're healed up and then go. You can wait until your bosses aren't moving, like they're locked. So that would be you saw it a couple times. The bosses would jump and then we would swap during that because they're not doing anything. You could do it like that. You could wait until brands. So when the bosses are spawning brands, they are locked still. They don't move. So it's a perfect time to go. Yeah, just wait until nothing's going on, right? Or until after something has happened. But the big thing, let's talk about this. You're gonna see this timer, ice fragility, on Kuja Knight. Kuja doesn't currently have ice fragility. What this timer is saying is at the end of it, Kuja is going to get ice fragility.
Yeah, I'm swapping 3.
And what that means is Kuja is going to take way more ice damage. Like if he gets light attacked by that ice boss, he's going to die. So he needs to get away from that ice boss. Anything ice related, he needs to get away from within that 3 second period, 4 second period that we've got left.
1. Now.
Okay, swapping. So right now, at the end of this timer, Kuja has ice fragility right now. And now if he gets hit by this ice boss, he is going to get one shot and die. So swap before that. Always before that. If you don't, you die.
Crypt when you get.
That is about it. There's not too much else to talk about regarding this fight. There are definitely other strats when it comes to the beginning, the ending, but this is just how my group did it, and this is how a lot of swash groups do it. There are faster ways, but we won't talk about that today. Yeah, if you have any questions, you know, maybe about my build, I can probably get the logs, you know, ask in the comments. See you guys.